Okay, dear Dhamma friends, we have come to the Dhamma sermon of this English medium retreat. May you give your consent by saying Sadhu Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Anapanasati bhikkave bhavita bahuli kata mahappala hoti mahanisansati. Dear Dhamma friends, as you all can remember, we have taken Anapanasati Sutta as the topic of this Kalalgoda English medium retreat. So we were discussing this for several months now, and we have went through that in a little comprehensive manner, because this sutta is quite important for our practice, directly related to our practice. And Buddha says if one practices as the sutta explains, then one can develop all four foundations of mindfulness through Anapanasati. Actually, Anapanasati is listed as one of the Kayanupassana method in Satipatthana Sutta. In Satipatthana Sutta, actually there are 14 types of meditation objects are mentioned in Kayanupassana, and Anapanasati is one of them. But in this Anapanasati Sutta, where Buddha is giving some different kind of attention, and he is telling here that if one practices Anapanasati in a specific way, then he says that one can fulfill all four types of Satipatthana. And not only that, then one can even develop 7 enlightenment factors, Satta Bojjhanga. And then one can lead to the knowledge and the freedom, Vijja Vimutti. They are if we refer Buddha's words, Anapanasati bhikkave bhavita bahuli kata chattaro satipatthane paripureti. That means that if one develops Anapanasati as per Buddha's instructions, then one can fulfill all four foundations of mindfulness. Then chattaro satipatthano bhavita bahuli kata satta bojjhange paripurenti. So when one fulfills all four satipatthana, then one can complete 7 enlightenment factors. Satta bojjhanga bhavita bahuli kata vijja vimuttim paripurenti. Say when one fulfills or completes 7 enlightenment factors, then one can complete vijja vimutti, that is the knowledge and the freedom, liberation. So that is the statement that Buddha is telling. So therefore it is quite important to understand how this is happening. In a way, this is something that encourages us to practice Anapanasati, but that does not mean that everything else, say some other techniques available in Satipatthana and say various other techniques mentioned in the Dhamma are quite irrelevant. They too are relevant, but here this is another method Buddha is specifying. Say for example, last time when I was discussing Anapanasati, some yogis question whether are they missing anything because they are practicing rising and falling. It is not the situation. So different techniques are available. Ultimately, things are going to develop internal qualities. Say for example, if one develops Anapanasati, that is one technique that you can utilize or use to develop mindfulness, develop concentration and develop wisdom. Say if you are developing rising and falling, then that too helps to develop mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. Say if you are developing elements meditation, that too helps to develop mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. So ultimately the technique is not the main thing, but how they are contributing to develop various qualities. That is the most important thing. So time to time we might undertake different techniques, like we are taking different tools to fulfill certain tasks. So in this Anapanasati Sutta, like we discussed yesterday, Buddha sees that there are different Arahant elders are instructing the young venerables, novice monks, and they are doing well and they are practicing diligently. And so Buddha decides not to move at the end of the Vassa, the rains retreat, and he decides to stay longer at Migaramatu Pasada in Travasti, because the traveling might disturb the meditation. And now the other monks are developing further, and then at the end of the other month, then again Buddha reconsider whether it is okay to travel or whether it is necessary to stay longer, so that he is helping the developing monks. Now there he understood that different groups are available among the monks. Some are practicing Buddhanusati, some are practicing Dhammanusati, some are practicing Sanghanusati, some are practicing Asubha, some are practicing, say, Satipatthana. Likewise, different meditation techniques are available, and different monks are practicing different techniques. There Buddha recognized, okay, let me give single kind of an advice which suits many people or many characters. That is how he encourages this Anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, and he explains in 16 steps. So the first 4 steps belongs to Kayanupassana, where one feels the breath, one establishes mindfulness using breath, and with the refined mindfulness is capable of distinguishing subtle differences, not only in between in-breath and out-breath, even in between 2 consecutive in-breaths, even in between 2 consecutive out-breaths. So there you can recognize, you can understand how refined mindfulness we have to have in order to see such subtle differences. It is quite easy to understand that, okay, the in-breath may be cooler, out-breath may be warmer, because that is quite obvious sometimes. But on the other hand, if we consider how to distinguish previous in-breath and the present in-breath, so it's quite difficult, because 2 in-breaths might appear very similar. Similarly, 2 out-breaths might appear very similar. So in order to recognize very subtle differences available among such 2 consecutive in-breaths or out-breaths, you need very refined mindfulness, very sharp mindfulness. So if one possesses such ability, then Buddha says one would be able to recognize, okay, one in-breath may be longer, one in-breath may be shorter. So likewise, subtle differences may be visible. So then that indicates one is fully gone with the world. So he has no perception about the world, and mind is fairly quiet and fairly focused, and now he is fully, almost 100% is with the breath. While observing in-breath, he is fully with the in-breath. While observing out-breath, he is fully with the out-breath. Now, as a result, then one immediately or automatically get into the next stage, that one would be able to understand this in-breath doesn't happen immediately, rather it's a gradual growth is there. Very soft beginning or very subtle beginning, and then the intensity increases, and then ultimately it fades away and the in-breath completes or finish. After a little while, then the out-breath begins very gently, and then the intensity, the feeling increases, and then it also disappears. After a little while, the next in-breath begins. So this way you can understand there's a kind of a cycle available in this breathing process, and one would recognize all these different facets which is available in this breathing process. So in order to have this full understanding, you have to completely, wholeheartedly, 100%, you have to be with the breath. You can't do this while you are thinking something happened in the past, you can't do this while you are dreaming about the future. So you have to completely let go of the past and the future and fully win the present moment. So if you are doing like this, now breath becomes calmer and calmer, subtler and subtler, and accordingly you also have to maintain very refined mindfulness. And if you are capable, then you can even maintain very refined mindfulness even when breath has almost disappeared. Now you can't distinguish whether it is in-breath or out-breath, but some feeling is there where you can't name now, you can't label now. Something is there and you are fully with that. And there you are allowing it to further calm down, and that is the last stage of the Kayanupassana, where you are now fully let go of the body. It only had single indication telling that there is some feeling of breath available, some knowledge is there, and even that has really calmed down. Passambhayam kaya sankharang asasissamiti sikkati. So that is the end of the Kayanupassana. And now when body becomes very soft or body becomes very lighter and the burden is less, you don't feel any pains and all these things, and as a result now there may be kind of rapturous feelings can arise, some happy feelings can arise, like waves are coming and going, maybe goosebumps might appear. So likewise some very happy feelings might arise. So there Buddha asks us to see them objectively rather than trying to identify with them, rather than trying to wish them to happen again and again, rather than grasping them. So try to go out of them and look at them objectively. Piti patisangvedi asasissamiti sikkati, sukha patisangvedi asasissamiti sikkati. So there Buddha says this is the Vedananupassana, because you can remember feeling is not only painful feeling. Feeling has happy feelings as well, and again the neutral feelings as well. So neutral feelings, happy feelings are all belongs to the category of feelings. So rather than trying to identify with happy feelings, or rather than trying to enjoy those happy feelings, Buddha is asking us to go out of them and have a kind of a perspective and then look at them objectively, how they are arising, how they are changing, how they are passing away. Is it this happy feeling only one unit, or is it very subtle? I mean, is it dispersed or distributed among whole area? So likewise you can see various different facets, aspects of this happy feeling as well, and then probably you might be able to even let go of that. Now the feeling is calming down, and that is the end of the Vedananupassana, where Buddha says Passambhayam chitta sankharang asasissamiti sikkati. Now we are even letting go the feelings, and now you don't have much feeling about the body. Now Buddha is asking us to look at the mind. That is the beginning of the Chittanupassana. Chitta patisangvedi asasissamiti sikkati. So now the yogi may have the skill to look at the mind. So there Buddha warning us, telling, okay, you don't go to look at the mind immediately, rather develop enough mindfulness, establish mindfulness, and when you are confident enough, then you look at the mind. Because mind is very subtle, very tempting, and there's a possibility that you might get carried away by the content of the mind or the thought. So therefore we have to be very careful, we have to be ready, confident, and have to have a strong mindfulness, unwavering mindfulness to look at the mind. Actually, we ourselves have to test this. We can't for sure whether we have enough mindfulness to look at our mind. We have to take a risk and look at ourselves. So sometimes we get carried away. Then we understand, okay, I am not yet ready. Okay, you go back to Kayanupassana, you go back to Vedananupassana, further develop yourself. And again after a while, okay, you feel, okay, let's try again. So again you look at the mind. Sometimes again you carried away, again you go back. So likewise you have to test yourself, taking a little risk, and later, okay, you get the ability. Now you can look at the mind comfortably. Your mindfulness is more stronger than the defilement, and mostly since mindfulness is quite strong, the defilement may not grow to its higher level. Rather, at its initial stage, you can recognize. The mindfulness will show you, okay, the now mind is getting some anger. Okay, now mind is becoming lustful. Not at the level that you are burning, rather at the very beginning stage. So your mindfulness is fairly strong now. So now you can look at those defilements, those states of mind under the light of mindfulness. Like when a thief coming, so you are putting a flashlight, and then the thief get frightened. Not you get frightened, but the thief get frightened because the flashlight is fairly strong, something like that. Because your mindfulness is fairly strong, and the defilement is yet in the beginning stage, and you look at it, and now you are not feeding it. Remember, the defilement itself doesn't have much power unless we are feeding it, unless we are strengthening it. So if we recognize the defilement at its very initial stage and stop feeding it, stop nurturing it, then there is no any other source for it to develop. There is no any other source for it to delude us. So then, without having a source of energy, it starts to fade away. So now we are looking at the mind again and again. So various different states are happening. Like Buddha says in Chittanupassana section in Satipatthana Sutta, okay, maybe lustful thoughts are rising, you are looking at them objectively. Okay, angry thoughts are rising, you are looking at them objectively. Maybe distractions might happen, you look at them objectively. There is no any panic, you are not identifying with them. So as a result, all these different states are now going fade away, and ultimately mind also become very calm. Samadhahan chittang assa sisamiti sikkati. So you are allowing the mind to further calm down. It's very subtle state where your mind, or the strictly speaking the consciousness, now having a very delicate place to stay, or delicate place to stand. In case even that delicate place loses, then one can reach the last stage of Chittanupassana, where Buddha says, Vimochayan chittang asasissamiti sikkati, where one loses all the objects or all the phenomena which was available for the mind or the consciousness to establish, and one might feel some kind of a freedom. So that's what we discussed on yesterday, as in the Chittanupassana, as the final section, where one loses the footing, where the mind or the consciousness loses the footing, and now we are getting to a different domain. So this is something that we need to recognize, and typically, even though many yogis have this experience, so it may not be quite easy to recognize if it is happening in a momentary level. Say it may be happening 1 second, 2 seconds, you may not even notice it because it is quite boring, and you may simply miss it. But as a result of practice, again and again you are experiencing this, and again the length of the period may increase. Suppose it happens for 5 seconds, suppose it happens for 10 seconds, suppose it happens for 20 seconds. So likewise, when the period increases, there you might feel some jerk kind of thing. Because so far the mind was used to grasp something and hold something, and that holding is no more. That grasping is no more, and that footing is not available. So there one feels a different kind of a situation, like being in a different situation or being in a different domain, one loses the orientation, and again one have the faith on the Buddha, faith on the Dhamma, faith on the Sangha, and again one practices it. And again one's mind come to that place. And one recognize, okay, this is not a place to be afraid. This is something to be practiced. This is something to be appreciated, even though it appears very dry. Because we can remember the happiness so far what we have derived is mostly using the sensual happiness through the senses, and they have some kind of defilement, particularly the kama chanda, the sense desire. So sense desire is the culprit, taking us to different objects without allowing us to stay satisfied in single object. So while being in a single object, it is asking to go for another object. Because sense desire doesn't like to be bored. So always it's asking some variety. But if we are able to subside sense desire, kama chanda, then we can maintain our attention even on an equanimous object. So that is what happens in Anapanasati, where when you are able to subside nivaranas, these hindrances, especially the sense desire, then you can maintain your mind comfortably on in-breath and out-breath. Because in-breath and out-breath is not attractive. It is the same in-breath and out-breath which you have begun your meditation. It is not different. Rather, the difference has happened within the defilements, within the hindrances. The kama chanda, the sense desire has subsided. Since sense desire has subsided, you can maintain your attention even for a long time on a very equanimous, very boring object. Mind doesn't complain now. So that's a difference. That's a very interesting phenomena. We think that the breath has become beautiful. We think that the, say, breath is entirely a new breath. It is not. It's the same breath which we have breathed from our childhood. It is not something different breath. It is not some high intensity oxygen. same oxygen. But our mind has changed now. The hindrances have dropped. So we find it quite comfortable. So we can comfortably stay with the breath. Now similarly here also what we have to understand is, now when we first get into this new domain where there is no object, so mind feel little uncomfortable because it doesn't used to it. It always used to attach with something and stay, associate something and stay. But now it is in a situation where there is no association. Anissita. Anissitocha viharati. So mind stays without any association. And again mind appears like empty. So there is no lust, there is no hatred, there is no delusion, there is no feeling about the body, there is no feeling about the feelings, there is no any perceptions, signs to delude us, and there is no any sankharas, there are no big thoughts going on, and it appears like very empty, appears like even dull at the beginning. But someone will tell you, okay, you don't be afraid, you carry on. So typically this happens through a Kalyana Mitta, where it's very difficult to convince ourselves at this stage. Because the conviction happen based on our limited experiences. So these experiences are not available for us till we come to that stage, and someone has to push. Okay, you carry on. And more you recognize that place, more and more you familiarize that place, then you recognize certain benefits. Okay, there is no friction while being there, even though it appears like boring. There is no friction. There is no entertainment by the way, but at least no friction, at least no tension, there is no stress. So you are there, just be there. And while being there, you don't have to do anything. So if you are doing anything, that you are disturbing that process. So To 100%, you have to just be there. Suppose you are able to put yourself to that kind of unassociated state, anisthita state. At that time, if your deluded mind is hinting you, okay, you look at arising and passing away, or you look at feelings, or you look at your content of the mind, or blah blah blah, various hints are giving. If you are doing something, that is again sankhara, that's again fabrications, that's again formations, which will move you from that purity, which will move you from that kind of a peaceful state. So therefore, if you are able to be there, you have to just be there. So it's very, very difficult for us to just be. So as human beings, actually, maybe for little kids might be easy, but for adults, just being is extremely difficult. So we want to do something. Let's do something. So we are always encouraging others. Let's do something. Let's do something. So we are always encouraging others to do something. Now here, for 100%, you can't do anything. If you do something, then you are fabricating, you are polluting, you are corrupting this very pure state of mind. Suppose now you are trying your best. Okay, 1 minute you are not doing anything. For another 2 minutes you are not doing anything. For 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, you are not doing anything. Suppose if you are able to do that, not doing anything, then you may recognize, okay, I can maintain that state. Now we are getting to the Dhammanupassana. So while maintaining that state, again different defilements can appear. Now we are into the very refined state of mind, and since you are somewhat familiar with this emptiness, somewhat familiar with this very calm state of mind, which is friction free, even when the beginning of any defilement, now you are capable of understanding. And now we are not promoting it, now we are not nurturing it, and as a result, it is fading away, it is disappearing. It is arising and passing away. So we are coming to the first stage of Dhammanupassana, Aniccanupassi Asasisamiti Sikkati. So you can simply see defilements are coming and going. Various states of mind coming and going. Sometimes you feel comfortable and that also going. Sometimes you feel bored, that also going. Sometimes you feel mindful, that also going. Sometimes you feel vigilant, that also going. So different states of mind are appearing, and you are not recognized, you are not identifying with them, you are not promoting any of them. Rather you see how they are coming and going. Aniccanupassi. You see how impermanent they are, because you are not doing anything. You are supposed to not to do anything, but they are coming, because the mind still hasn't found the complete kind of a peace. Now we are in a temporary peaceful state, and still the influxes are there, asavas are available. As a result, due to certain causes, mind still may try to jump. Mind still may try to come out of this peaceful state. Suppose it comes out, now we are not promoting it, rather you look at it mindfully and it disappears. And you recognize how impermanent they are. Aniccanupassi asasisamiti sikkati. So more and more you practice this, so what happens is, now you are losing the interest about all these different temporary statements or temporary states. It may be happy feelings, it may be different thoughts, it may be different moods, it may be different little emotions, different sensations, any of these, and they are coming and going. So you are now losing the interest. They are like fading away. Say for example, suppose there's a watercolored beautiful artwork, and if you are simply look at it, you might get attracted to it. Very beautiful. Say it's but made out with watercolors, for example. And suppose due to some reason some water was poured to it and all the lines and all the drawing become blurred. Everything is now like faded. Now you are looking at it, now you have lost the interest. It is no more attractive. So similarly, now all these sense impingements or different things, whatever the contents of the mind appears like faded away. So mind is automatically not grasping them now. All these things are coming, but mind does not encourage them. As a habit, it might grasp for a temporary period, but not for long. It is going away. This the viraganupassī asasisamiti sikkati. So you are looking at them in a dispassionate way. Rather than grasping them, now mind simply let them go. Mind become dispassionate about them, not interested about them. So that is the second stage of Dhammanupassana in this Anapanasati Sutta. That is the 14th, the number in the 16 steps, where your mind become little dispassionate, not interested about these coming and going phenomena. Rather you like to stay quiet. Rather you like to stay empty. Rather you like to stay alone within yourself, unentangled, friction-free, undefiled. Now we are coming to a third stage, Nirodhanupassī asasisamiti sikkati, where since you are not promoting any kind of samudaya, arising side, now things are going, things are fading away. Now typically, as we discussed yesterday, when monkey loses one branches, he immediately catches another branch because he wants to hold. Now similarly, when we are losing one object, we are catching another object. Our mind catches another object because we want to hold, because we have passion, we have lust, we have greed, we have desire. So therefore, never allowing things to pass away. Immediately when something passes away, we are again picking up something, again arising. Something is passing away, now we are again arising. Again we are into arising side, always in the samudaya side. So never allowing things to completely cease. Now in this Nirodhanupassana or Nirodhanupassī asasisamiti sikkati, the third stage of Dhammanupassana, so one sees that things are passing away. So not interested of promoting a new thing, rather wherever he is looking at, things are passing away. Sometimes yogis are telling, even when they are looking at outside, even with their naked eye, they even can see things are passing away. So that's sometimes called bhanga jnana, where sort of things are rapidly passing away. So this is very similar to this one side of Nirodhanupassana or Nirodhanupassī, where now we are not promoting any kind of new things, rather whatever the things happening, you look at the passing away side, via side, the fading away side, disappearing side. So this is sometimes called as Kaya Nirodha, where you see the instant passing away. Instantly, when you are looking at it, it's gone. Again you are looking at it, it's gone. Very rapid. Now there's a very deep side to this Nirodhanupassana. Now if you, as a result of this process, if our defilements have fairly faded away, they are also in a very delicate holding now. At that moment, suppose there is some kind of a defilement arise, and you are in a very vigilant state, and you are looking at it, and you don't need it again, and you want to be free from it. So that is the kind of an attitude we might have at that time. Since you are not promoting it, since you don't need it, since you want to get rid of it forever, and that also has seen again and again for a long time, now it is in the last bit. Now again you are applying the mindfulness and you are looking at it and it's gone away forever. So that is the kind of the best way of Nirodhanupassana, which we don't know when will happen, but it will lead to some kind of the the complete cessation of some kind of a fetter. So that is, so to speak, the kind of the best way of putting it to the Nirodhanupassana, where sometimes called as Achanta Nirodha, where some kind of a phenomena has passed away forever. Never it will arise again. So different vipassana knowledges are involved in these stages, and typically it is called Munchitu Kamyata Jnana, where you are developing some kind of a feeling or some kind of a desire to be free, desire to be completely free. I don't want it again. So complete, say for example, you have seen enough. So sometimes we call, I'm enough of it. So you sometimes call it like, I'm enough of it. I don't need it again. So that kind of a feeling is there. So still things are happening, but you are a little disgusted about it. I don't need it again. So that kind of a feeling, with such thing, say you are looking at it. So this sometimes called as Munchitu Kamyata Jnana. Actually it's a very broad term, where if it happens very strongly, sometimes books says, okay, you even go away from your home. Because even to such level you something like given up, that you have lost the interest, and you don't feel like washing, rather the appearing beautiful, or things have gone and you are not interested. So it can happen in a little different ways. So we have to be sometimes careful of that as well. So if it is going to too extreme, that's also not good. We have to maintain some balance. So sometimes some people have gone to some extreme. Okay, they don't interested about maintaining their clothing, and not interested about maintaining their health and feeding the body and all these things, because it has gone too far. It can happen also. So we have to be careful whether we are going too far, because the balanced attitude is something that we have to maintain. If you are going too far, then even you can get into even depressed modes. It is not necessary. There you have to maybe talk with another person and with another teacher and come out of it. Then the last stage is called Patinissagganupassi Assasisamiti Sikkati, where two sides of Patinissagganupassana is mentioned in the books, and one is called Parichāga Patinissagga and the other one is called Pakkhandana Patinissagga. So that's an interesting term, where you are giving up. Things are appearing, say different phenomena appearing, and now you are not interested, you are giving up that, you are letting go that. And again Pakkhandana Patinissagga is you are now diving into kind of an emptiness. You are diving into again that awareness, again to that unattached nature of the mind. So different phenomena are arising, or different attachment might arise, upadana might happen as a result of the available influxes, available fetters, but you are simply letting go that and coming back to this emptiness, coming back to the resting place, coming back to the unentangled nature of the mind. So it's very much looking the process in a different angle. So this is something, the 4 stages mentioned in Satipatthana, or rather Anapanasati Sutta, related to Dhammanupassana. So this last stage is typically mentioned as similar to Sankharupekha knowledge, you being somewhat equanimous for various kind of phenomena, and sometimes called as Patisankha Jnana. So feeling again and again these things, and again developing more and more knowledge, and again maintaining some kind of equanimity of happening whatever that happens, because more and more you recognize whatever happens are all impermanent and they don't last forever. They are very transient and you have no control and you can't find any satisfaction from them. So you simply, the mind, it's not you, basically the mind is not interested about them. So it becomes dispassionate, viraganupassī. It becomes naturally dispassionate about them. So as a result, you are not get tensed. Your mind now like to be free. So mind doesn't want to attach. Mind doesn't want to grasp. So without grasping, no tension. For the tension to happen, the grasping has to be present. If there is no grasping, there is no tension. So more and more, the yogi might experience tension-free kind of a mind. So in the last section of Satipatthana, Dhammanupassana, there Buddha refers 4 noble truths. So one recognizes how tension arises. So that's another beautiful way of putting it, because rather than seeing the outside phenomena coming and going, you can come back to yourself. Come back to yourself and see whether there is any kind of tension available. Are there any tension available within the body? Are there any facial muscles tensed? Is the forehead has any wrinkles? Are the jaws are tightly coupled? Or the tongue tightly pressed? So likewise, we are sometimes showing the tension using various minor bodily behavior. So if we can recognize them, so that's a good way to release tension. So if you simply look at yourself, so the way how the body remains, how your hands are kept, are they tensed or are they relaxed? How your eyes are closed, are they tensed or are they relaxed? Are they gentle? Are you forcefully closing your eyes or are they gently closed? You don't even feel them. Are your lips so tight or they are just there? Is your tongue resting or are you pushing it to your teeth? Are your jaws tightly coupled or are they simply resting? So likewise, some minor indications are there to indicate you, to tell you that whether you are tensed. So you can simply look at them. So once you can look at them, you can adjust them and then you feel more comfortable. Similarly, whenever mind attached, whenever mind is grasping something, so somehow those graspings causes to this kind of some sort of a bodily tension. So these bodily tensions are indications, reflections, telling you the mind also has grasping, or mind also is going through some kind of a tension. Mind also is going through some kind of a defilement. So if you are able to recognize this defilement, then you can recognize the unsatisfactoriness, the dukkha, suffering available in the mind. So if you are able to recognize that suffering, that unsatisfactoriness, then you can recognize what is the cause. It may be not that you are having a big pain in your knee or your back pain is there or something like that, but maybe some kind of a word that someone has told you. Maybe someone has done something which is not the way you like. Minor tension. So maybe he didn't call you. You are expecting a call, but he didn't call. Very minor things. Sometimes your daughter, your husband or someone, he didn't really appreciate what you did. You didn't get the recognition. He didn't praise you. You did the best, but no praise came. So minor things are there, still bothering you. So if you can recognize them, probably you can let go that desire. So why are you expecting recognition? Why you want to be someone? Why you want to be show up? Why do you want to get a praise? Can you control yourself or someone else? If we can control ourselves, all right. Still we can't control ourselves. Then how can we control the others? So all these expectations are making some kind of a discomfort, some kind of a burden in our mind, in a very subtle way. So if we are able to recognize this and simply let go, I am just an earthworm. Who cares? So they don't know about me. Okay, I'm just sitting here. Now I forget the whole world. Let it be. So I'm just like to be empty. I'm just like to be untensed or no tension. Just empty. Free from defilements. Free from tension. Without any entanglement. So just maintaining, just be. So if you can just be, again, no tension. So you are completely free. Again, mind becomes utterly free. So likewise, if we can reflect to yourself and coming back to yourself and look at yourself and where has gone wrong, where is my expectations, where am I expecting, where is this mind complaining, what am I asking? So all these things are certain internal conflicts happening within our mind. So if we can recognize them, simply we can let them go. For that to happen, we have to be utterly humble. We have to come back to ourselves. We have to sit on the ground. We have to be on the earth, not on the moon, but on the earth. And we have to be very realistic. And we have to understand, there is no person here. Mind is also transient. Different moods are coming and going. Different defilements are rising and passing away. Body is anyway very transient. So how can I see another person outside? He or she also going through the same pattern like this mind. At that time he was not in a good mood. So his mind is filled with certain defilements. So he told me like that. So he behaved like that. So if we can recognize, if you can apply the same attitude which you are having to yourself, that you saw that certain mind states are coming and going. You can't maintain any of these. You can't maintain any of the defilement. You can't maintain any of the wholesome states either. Then how come another person maintains such wholesome state? So how can there's a person there when you can't find a person here? So likewise you can use many different techniques to understand or to free all these defilements. So more and more you develop mindfulness, more and more you develop wisdom, more and more easy that you can let go of. So Patinissagganupassana becomes very natural because whenever mind attaches, simply let go. And because we can't correct the world, you can't make the world flat rather than you correct yourself. So coming back to yourself, more and more you try to become free from defilements. more and more you trying to become maintain unentangled mind, unentangled mindfulness, intuitive awareness, coming back to yourself. So more and more your mind be free from tension. So Buddha promise, if one develops Satipatthana, that one's mind be free from dukkha domanassanam attangamaya. So your mind has to be free from any tension, any stress, any suffering, and even very subtle despair, even any kind of a domanassa, mental unrest, even that has to go. So slowly, if we are able to maintain such state of mind, so then we can be happy, okay, what Buddha has mentioned, what he has promised is still available even today. Even today such things available if you are practicing. So Satipatthana practice is something therefore Buddha really encouraged, and therefore he says even using single Anapanasati, if we are doing it properly, touching all these different states, all the 16 states, then one can fulfill all 4 types of mindfulness, or 4 foundations of mindfulness, 4 Satipatthanas. So that ends the 4 Satipatthanas mentioned in the Sutta, how one can develop Anapanasati in a way to fulfill all 4 Satipatthanas. So let's look at the other section on next month. So you can practice as what we have discussed now and come tension free on next month. Thank you very much.